Next, we have specification number 5, which asks us to explain the mechanism by which water moves upwards in the xylem in terms of a transpiration pull that draws up a column of water molecules held together by forces of attraction between water molecules. So, here, we'll be looking at the process of how water is carried upwards in the stem, and explaining exactly how that works and why those forces keep the water moving. So, let's begin with the concept of transpiration stream. Transportation stream is simply the steady flow of water from the roots all the way up to the leaves, and it's powered by the process of transpiration. And here's how it works. During transpiration, water molecules evaporate from the surface of the mesophyll cells inside the leaf. Once they've evaporated, they diffuse out of the leaf through the stomata. As this water is lost from the leaves, it creates a pull that draws more water up through the xylem to replace what's been lost. We call this movement of water from the roots to the leaves the transpiration stream. It keeps going because of the cohesive forces between water molecules. These forces cause the molecules to stick together, forming one unbroken column of water. If we see the diagram here, in the leaf we can see water vapor diffusing out through the stomata. Water evaporates from the mesophyll cell walls, and tension pulls water from the veins into the apoplast of the mesophyll cells. That tension also pulls the water column upward and outward in the xylem of the leaf veins. In the stem, the same tension continues to pull the water column upward through the xylem. And in the root, water molecules form the cohesive column from the roots all the way to the leaves, while water enters the stele by osmosis. The important labels on this diagram would be mesophyll cell, vein, xylem, stomata, root hair, and the xylem in the root section. Now, let's go a little deeper into how the transpiration stream actually works. First, water is lost from the leaves during transpiration. As this happens, more water molecules are drawn into the leaf by osmosis to replace what's been lost. These moving water molecules then pull the water molecules next to them upward through the xylem, and that's because of the attractive forces between the molecules. This pulling effect creates one continuous column of water moving upward through the xylem, all the way from the roots to the leaves. The upward force generated in the leaves by this process is what we call the transpiration pull. Now, focusing on transpiration pull, this is the process that allows water to be continuously drawn upward in the xylem, and it happens because of the cohesive forces between water molecules, in other words, the tendency of water molecules to stick to each other. The upward movement of water in the xylem happens through this mechanism, and it's driven by transpiration taking place in the leaves. The sequence starts when water evaporates from the surface of the mesophyll cells inside the leaf. Once it's evaporated, the water vapor diffuses out through the stomata into the atmosphere. When this water is lost from the leaf, it creates a negative pressure, or tension, inside the vascular system of the leaf. This tension acts like a pulling force, drawing more water upward through the xylem from the roots. So, the negative pressure created by water loss in the leaves is actually the key driving force behind the entire upward movement of water in the plant. Without it, the transpiration stream could not be sustained. Let's also comment on how the transpiration stream and the transpiration pull are different. The transpiration stream is the overall movement of water, a continuous flow from the roots to the leaves, sustained by cohesive forces between water molecules. It's like the water highway running through the plant. The transpiration pull, on the other hand, is the specific mechanism that powers the movement upward in the xylem. It's driven by transpiration happening in the leaves. The process starts when water evaporates from the surface of the mesophyll cells in the leaves and diffuses out through the stomata into the atmosphere. As this water is lost, it creates a negative pressure, or tension, inside the leaf's vascular system. In transpiration pull, the upward movement of water is made possible by a continuous column of water molecules that travel through the xylem into the leaves. This column stays intact because of cohesion, the attractive force that holds water molecules together. These cohesive forces give the water column strength and stability, preventing it from breaking apart as it moves upward through the plant. When water evaporates from the leaf surface through the stomata, it creates a kind of pulling or suction effect at the top of this column. This pulling force, the transpiration pull, is what drives the entire column of water upward from the roots, through the stem, and into the leaves. Moreover, in transpiration pull, the pulling force created in the leaves produces tension that travels all the way down through the continuous column of water in the xylem, reaching right to the roots. Because of the cohesive forces between water molecules, this entire column can be pulled upward as a single, unbroken stream without snapping apart. But cohesion isn't working alone, adhesion also plays an important role. This is the tendency of water molecules to stick to the inner walls of the xylem vessels. That adhesion helps the water grip the sides as it moves upward, which not only supports the column but also helps counteract the pull of gravity. Together, cohesion and adhesion make it possible for the transpiration pull to move water from the very base of the plant right up to the highest leaves. To sum up, transpiration pull, supported by the cohesive forces between water molecules and their adhesion to the xylem walls, works to maintain an unbroken column of water moving from the roots, through the xylem, and up to the leaves. This constant flow ensures the plant stays hydrated and able to carry out its functions. In addition to water, this upward stream also transports dissolved minerals and nutrients, which are crucial for the plant's growth, development, and metabolic processes.